first thing we're doing is we're concerned about exports from China, that we're buying too many things from China, and it's making the governments unhappy about our trade balance. And so what does it do? Well, first we sent Treasury Secretary Paulson and then Secretary of State Clinton and then Treasury Secretary Geithner over to China to try and get them to allow their currency to get stronger. And therefore, the dollar would be weaker against the one would be stronger, and that would mean prices of things we buy in China would be higher. So that would raise the price of everything we buy at the department store from China to a higher price, with the idea that then we won't buy it. Okay, so we're trying to basically we're trying to negotiate with the Chinese so that for them to give everybody in China a pay increase, so that their costs would go up and the prices we pay over here would go up to the point where we can't buy them anymore. Now that makes little sense as a strategy to begin with, but that was the basic thing. And the way they do it regarding monetary policy is they try to talk the Chinese into letting their currency get stronger and the dollar get weaker. Okay. At the same time, our Secretary of State Clinton, Geithner, worrying about whether or not they're going to buy our debt. Now, and again, I'm telling you, this gets confused. We think we need China to buy our debt. In fact, we don't. We don't need anybody to buy our debt. That's a different story, and I'll go into that at a different point. But the United States doesn't need anyone to buy their debt. The checks aren't going to bounce. We can spend whatever money we want. But she thinks we do. And so does President Obama, and so does Geithner. The entire administration thinks we need China to buy our debt. So we're over there making concessions to China and on things like human rights. And so we're sacrificing our stand on human rights because we think we need China to buy our debt, when in fact we don't. Okay, now I'm going to tie this back into the trade issue. What are we afraid of if they don't buy our debt? We're afraid that if they don't buy our debt, the dollar will go down, and that'll create a large problem, okay? So if you just remember from a couple of minutes ago, we're trying to negotiate to fix it, and the negotiations are we want the dollar to go down, and they don't. And so we're having an argument over that. At the same time, we're concerned about them not buying our Treasury securities, which would make the dollar go down. Well, do we want the dollar to go down or not? In half the negotiations with China, we want it to go down, and the other half, we don't want it to go down. It's completely confused policy, and it comes from an administration that doesn't understand the monetary system, and that's why I'm running for president.